Yeah, I think for every jurisdiction, big or small, public safety is the number one issue. And for us in the district, it is because that's what our residents were telling us. So the main thing that the mayor was looking to solve and chief brought to us was reducing crime and also addressing the fact that just like most law enforcement outfits across the country, staffing is an issue. We are down officers, probably about 500 officers. And so we really needed to look at how can we make them most efficient and effective, and how can we use technology to really increase our ability to drive down crime and to make our city safer. Yeah, well, one is time. Usually when you take on a project, it's planned a year in advance. You have budget, capital build, all of these things. And that wasn't where we were. We had a pressing issue of needing to reduce crime and needing to really do that as quickly as possible. So the first thing was, how do we do that? We're government, so there's things that are bureaucratic, that or feel bureaucratic, but that are necessary. And so we really had to figure out, how can we do that? How can we accelerate this process so that it really allows us the effectiveness that we expected it to have? And there's always, in DC, we have a population that's very informed, very educated, and there's always concerns about First Amendment rights and the perceived surveillance aspect of things, and which is really why previously we hadn't necessarily always activated our joint operations centers for normal operations, sort of crime reduction purposes. And so making sure that all along the way we were like, how can we, mitigate any of those concerns so that when we do open, we're not fighting headwinds in that space. Those are a couple. I mean, I think again, from concept to creation, we were so fast that how do we do this and be really efficient and effective stewards of public trust and public dollars? A timeline at the conference that we were at yesterday, where the chief brought the idea to the mayor, myself, and I think it was end of August of 2023, and we were fully operational by April. That is unheard of in government. So there are a lot of different confluence of positive things that helped us. One is community. I always go back to community because at the heart of what we are is public servants. And so their appetite for us instituting things like this was there. We included them all along the way. We had already built partnerships because we do in DC have to really work together with federal, state, and local partners. So when we're bringing the idea to them to be on board with us, they were very open to it because we do work in that way. That is helpful because crime is not bound by city limits. So for us to really be effective, we needed their buy-in. We were already in the middle of a capital build to redo our police headquarters. So we were really able to adapt a portion of what we were doing to fit. So we didn't need to design a whole new capital project to support the RTCC. And we're like, we can use a space that's being built to adapt that. And then also there were some things, the mayor declared a juvenile crime emergency, which allowed us to really accelerate procurement timelines, which oftentimes can be a real challenge because we needed critical software and screens and the things that really are necessary to be functional. So those are really and then I think really the support of the mayor was something that really needed to be in place. And she was a partner all along the way. Police departments and law enforcement agencies can sometimes operate it for a host of reasons isolatedly. I'm a deputy mayor and my involvement was intimate. I was there from first idea to visiting other locations to the actual demonstration when software companies would come. And that helped me to be able to advocate, understand, and really help move things along so that the chief and MPD could focus on reducing crime while also really moving the project forward in the way it needed to. Chief, I mean, there's absolutely no way we could do what we have done, either with the RTCC, with our officers who are on the street, who are a critical part. We're policing with purpose, serving with care, which is the chief's motto. With communicating with the mayor, like none of that would have happened without Chief Smith. She was visionary from the start. She started in July of 2023, coming in to a large force in a city in the midst of significant upticks in crime. And right from the start was like, okay, why not? Why not? Let's try this. Well, I understand we do it that way, but why can't we do it this other way? And so it was vital, instrumental, and continues to be, she continues to be kind of a force for our force. The big thing is we say in DC, numbers aren't everything, but numbers are important. And so I start here. I mean, we've had a 35% reduction in violent crime. One of the crimes that was really driving a lot of the fear in our city is carjacking. There's just something about being in your car and having a gun put in your face and being dragged out. And that was happening in places that they hadn't experienced it. Today, we have a 50% reduction in carjacking. And it's hard, I'm a lawyer, so it's hard to say causation, but certainly there's a correlation. We know for a fact that the surety of consequence and swift case closure helps us to reduce crime. And so one of the things from the start that was very, very obvious about our real-time crime center was the speed at which we were able to get information out to the public to assist us. So, and also to our officers who the real-time crime center could pull an image, push it out to officers who are actually on patrol. So they are very clear at who they're looking out for, the cars that we're looking out for. That was critical. And we could point to numbers. There are a significant number of numbers we offered of cases that have been brought to closure that are working their way through the judicial process. Because again, we started, open in April. But I absolutely, we can see the impact. We believe in partnership in the district, and partnership looks like our community, our officers, and all of our stakeholders working together. And the RTCC has been invaluable in that, really helping us to drive down crime. Just start with whatever you have. I mean, we kind of went big, like we're DC, but you don't need to. We saw we went across the country to real-time crime centers, and we saw them big and small, people working with what they have. I would say as a, executive side, include your executives, really help to bake them into the idea so that they can be advocates and understand what you're trying to do versus kind of coming with a full baked idea and then you have to try and convince them. I think that the more you can be inclusive of them in the process, the better outcome you're going to get. But again, I would just say use what you got and start.